thank you for allowing me to share this night with you. To the faculty of Glenbrook, it's truly an honor having graduated from here to allow me to speak tonight. And to the parents, even though your students may not always admit it, they truly are thankful for your help in getting them here tonight. And graduates, it doesn't seem like that long ago since I was sitting in your spot on the stage. I remember thinking, I hope these speakers aren't too long-winded because we were all ready to get out of here. And tonight I hope to not disappoint. About a month ago, when I received a phone call from my mom asking me to phone Coach Orr about the commencement speech at Glenbrook's graduation, I was completely stunned. I thought for a moment Mom was probably going crazy and had misunderstood what Coach Orr meant. There was no way he wanted me to speak tonight at graduation to these incredible people who have worked so hard. Well, I guess Coach Orr's been hit by one too many tennis balls. Therefore, I've spent the last month in denial that I have been asked to inspire and give advice to the graduates here. This speech was constantly on the back of my mind, haunting me with my lack of knowledge and wisdom to give. So in desperation, I turned to a trusty friend who's always been there to help me, Google. Similar to Gracie, I'm just not as savvy with social media. There's a lot of information out there on how to give the best graduation speech, and I was completely overwhelmed. So naturally, being the nerd I am, I read all the advice columns and even read many of the best graduation speeches of all times, written by people who are much more eloquent than I am. People such as J.K. Rowling, Steve Jobs, and even one of my favorite radio personalities, Ira Glass. And let me tell you, if I felt inadequate before, I was in utter despair after. Finally, way too late to be considered acceptable, I sat down at my computer and just began to write what was on my mind. After several drafts, I found three common themes emerging. The first, do not be afraid to change your mind. Second, prove others and yourself wrong. And finally, keep your eyes and your mind open. Tonight, I hope to share a few stories that will illustrate what I wish I knew when I was sitting in your seat 10 years ago. So in the words of the Beatles, lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Choosing a field of study in college is a daunting task for some, while for others it seems as if they've always known what they wanted to be. I was in the latter when I went wide-eyed to the Louisiana State University. For years, I had known what I wanted to study. I wanted to become a pediatric dentist. I had always loved working with children, and it was a socially acceptable career, as it would offer great hours and a secure, comfortable lifestyle. 2 years into college, my love of learning that had always inspired me since I could remember was gone. Vanished completely into the damp halls of the chemistry buildings and the dead biology classrooms. I had no desire to learn, and I was completely at a loss as to why. I was working towards my dream, or so I thought. I saw many of my friends loving their majors and talking with enthusiasm about the future when they got to go and work in their fields of choice. I, on the other hand, dreaded that day with every ounce of my body. After talking with several friends, I noticed the passion they shared for their field of study and the longing they had to make the world a better place through their chosen careers. That was what I was lacking, a burning desire to fulfill my purpose in a chosen career. So with fear in my voice, but confidence in my heart, I called my parents to tell them that I was changing my major. Yes, as a junior in college, I was changing my major. Now parents, please forgive me and try hard not to think about those ever-rising tuition costs, but I've learned that life is way too short not to follow your dreams. Each day, as I look into the eyes of my 53 students, as they balance in their seats, eager to learn or share their ideas, I know I made the right choice in changing my mind and following my passion to inspire others to become lifelong learners. Even though the days may be stressful, and my classroom is beginning to share a startling resemblance to Miss Bryce's classroom, I am happy to say I agree with the wise words of Maya Angelou when she stated that her mission in life was not merely to survive, but to thrive. To do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. As for the style Miss Angela was referring to, I'm still working on that. But I do know that changing your mind may be an awfully intimidating decision, and may even seem that you're admitting to failure. But if you stay true to yourself, you will be happy. Life without passion, compassion, and humor is not a life worth living. Learn to follow your dreams, to be considerate of the ideas and dreams of others, to laugh at your life and yourself, and you will not merely survive, but you will thrive. Your passion should always be held precious, very dear to your heart. If there's anything you should know in life, is that there's usually going to be someone rooting against you or planting seeds of doubt. It may be a friend or a significant other, to which my advice would be, tell them to hit the road. Other times, society will cause you to doubt yourself. More often, however, those seeds of doubt will be planted in your head by none other than you. 2 years ago, when I was first asked by the Center for Gifted Education at the College of William & Mary to develop a curriculum that would be published into a book that would be sold to teachers across the country, I was extremely honored, but very anxious. For those of you that do not know, the Center of Gifted Education at the College of William & Mary is the mecca for gifted education across the world. And although a trusted professor at LSU had recommended me for the job based on her opinion of me, I did not fully believe in myself. Then, when I told the coordinator of gifted services in my district about this opportunity, she also expressed her doubts. I was in utter despair. I was so disappointed. However, I knew I couldn't let my professor down, and as scared as I was, I accepted the job. After I said yes and had met with the directors of the Center for Gifted Education, I was really excited for the incredible opportunity ahead. I knew it would be a challenging task, but I pushed hard to prove to my gifted coordinator and myself that I could do it. Working to prove someone else wrong can be motivating and often will lead you to achieve feats you would have never considered possible. But trying to prove yourself wrong, trying to prove to yourself that you can do something you never imagined is the most demanding yet rewarding task you will ever attempt. There will be tough times. There will be times when you want to just give up. But to push through and prove to yourself that you're capable is a lesson that will never leave you. Graduates, don't be afraid to take risks and push yourself beyond your limits, because you're capable of much more than you could ever dream. So, as I mentioned previously, I was in a panic while attempting to find the right words for this special class of graduates. No words seemed to be good enough for the young men and women, most of whom I still see as the sweet little first graders who I helped with the Monster Mash lip sync. Very cute lip sync. With the speech constantly on my mind, I searched for the words for one last piece of advice to give these students. Reflecting back, I remembered how big the world seemed when I left for college. I had no idea of the different people, opportunities, or places in the world. One day, while reading and discussing a novel with my students, I thought of how Mary Lennox, the protagonist in Frances Hodges Burnett, The Secret Garden, moved from her isolated home in India to a new and surprisingly intriguing, albeit somewhat also isolated, world on the English moors. If you are familiar with The Secret Garden, you may remember how Mary was walking along the gardens, and for the first time, she was truly looking for things outside of herself. She had been a very conceited character up until this point. At this point, Mary was walking along the gardens and found something buried in the earth. Now, this won't spoil anything for those of you who haven't read it, and if you haven't, you should. But what Mary finds in the garden opens the world to her and allows her to see things she's never considered before. She begins to appreciate birds, flowers, and other things, even others besides herself, in a way that offers a wonderful and pleasant change to her character. I love Mary Lennox as a character because she offers hope that even the most contrary person can change when looking through different perspectives. Graduates, I hope you always keep your eyes open to this big world and aim to see the beauty in what is new and different. Remember that everyone is valuable and offers a different side to the story of our lives, without which this world would be an awfully boring place. Embrace the unexpected and always attempt to see through multiple perspectives. Just like Mary, keep your eyes open, because something that appears to be just a scrap buried in the earth may be the treasure that unlocks doors that seem forever closed and may lead you on an incredible journey of self-discovery. In order to accomplish your dreams and passions, you must take action. Actor Bradley Whitford, in his 2004 commencement address at the University of Wisconsin, said something that really stuck in my mind. Like I said, I did a lot of research before this. He stated, take action. Every story you've ever connected with, every leader you've ever admired, every puny little thing you've ever accomplished is the result of taking action. You have a choice. You can either be a passive victim of circumstance, or you can be an active hero of your own life. Mr. Whitford outlines a very important principle in life that somewhat sums up what I wanted to pass on to all of you tonight. The ability to make a conscious decision to take action is what sets us as humans apart from the other creatures with which we share this world. Choose to be the active hero of your life, to take action to achieve your dreams and passions, even if that means changing your minds at times when it may not seem that changing your mind is a viable option. Take action to prove to yourself and others that they are wrong. Not to take the criticisms of yourself and others to heart, but instead use that as fodder for the fire that burns and will lead you to achieve the impossible. To take action to see the world and others from multiple perspectives is a mighty thing to do. Though it's not an easy feat, it is one that is invaluable and incredibly enlightening when you are able to appreciate the world and others for what they actually are. As I close, graduates, I will leave you with one last statement to consider. This is something I urge you to ponder each day, as you wake, and each night, as you turn into sleep. You have the choice to make your life what you want it to be. So make it a great life, or not. The choice is yours.